Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Katie and welcome along to another bookish adventure and another weekly reading vlog. So I am still currently reading Kingdom of Ash and I left that book in my bag, which was really stupid because I could have told you what page I was on. So that was dumb of me. I think when I picked it up today on lunch, I was on like page 210, I want to say, and I think I'm on page 250. I can't believe I forgot to pick it up. I can't believe I even said to myself, oh no, you won't need your book. Yeah, okay, like a really good idea. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just started page 210 because I think I looked before I started reading at lunch, and then because I obviously listened to audiobook this morning. So after my lunch break today, I'm on, oh my god, I actually was really close, 254, annoyingly. So I am that far in so far. So I think previously in my last reading vlog, I was sort of saying that we were at a point where we were sort of recapping with everyone, sort of where they left off, where they have been since the end of the previous book, and where they now had to go in the continuation of the story and everything coming together. So everyone is off on their own little missions. I said previously that I was really unsure how Alien's role was going to come into this and her parts, and I was right. Her parts have been sort of sprinkled in here and there because of the situation where she's in. She's not like out and about, she's currently captured, which isn't a spoiler because I'm not telling you who by, so it's totally fine. I'm at a point now where Alien is really, I think, going to really just like start making some decisions as to kicking ass or not is the only real way I can describe this. And I feel like this book is going to slightly turn a bit more because now everyone is kind of on the move a bit more, and I feel like we're going to see a few more battles coming, like where Kale is with Irene and Nessa in, and where Manon is with the witches. She's having to submerge herself in her enemies to be like, be my friends and come to war. I said previously I was really worried about Dorian. Still worried. That has not changed. In fact, the chapters I've just read have made me even more worried about Dorian right now. I'm just like, great. But part of me is going to be like, it's going to be too late, and all this cold bastard stuff and non-feeling will be too late because he'll have all the feels, and then it'll be too late and I'll just be crushed. So we'll see. So far I haven't felt the need to pick up a second book. I have been really enjoying this, and any spare time I've had, I've been like, oh, I really want to read this. I had a couple of nights last week where I listened to it on audiobook or I actually read it because yeah, I've actually really been wanting it. Sometimes with books like this where it is just, there's so many characters and there's so much happening, I get to a point where I'm like, I need to read something else because I'm just like, I can't like take it, especially if it's like an emotional battering. But so far with this, it's been on a great level. I'm keeping track of everyone's like movements and like all the plots and stuff, because sometimes I find that visually I'm like totally got it, but if I read stuff I really lose track of plots and things, and I'm like, wait, what? And I remember I have a grasp of like the generalness I need to know, but some of it gets a little bit hazy. But so far with this, like everything in there has been just like, it has stayed and it has been great. So I haven't felt the need to pick up a second book. Part of me does want to, however part of me is like, any spare time I get, like I want to just read this. So I am maybe nearly at 30%, I want to say. And sort of when I was editing last week, I sort of tried to just make a note and sort of track how much I ended up reading, because in the first 2 days I think I'd only read maybe 50 something pages. I was definitely under 100, and then these last few days I really sort of just seemed to actually, I need to be careful of my tea, I really just seemed to like rock it through, and I plowed through like, yeah, an extra 100 pages, nearly 200. So I'm kind of trying to go off that and just basing it off it. But I had a couple of nights, like I said, where I had the time and was able to listen it to an audiobook, so that may not kind of like get that option again. I am planning on, I need to wash my hair later, so I think instead of listening to My Dad Wrote a Porno, I think I'm gonna listen to this instead, because I've actually all caught up on My Dad Wrote a Porno. I'm now on like the current 5th series. I'm now trying to like eke it out and prolong it. However, whenever I wash my hair, it's like I listen to My Dad Wrote a Porno and drown myself because I'm laughing so much, and I'm just like, what the actual hell. If you have never ever listened to My Dad Wrote a Porno podcast, please can you do it? It is insane. So if the title does not give it away, this guy Jamie, he discovered, I'm pretty sure he said that his dad literally went, hey Jamie, I wrote a porno, and gave it to him to read. He is a self-published author on Amazon, so Belinda Blinked 1 and 2 is available. I don't know about the rest. I don't know if his dad has now just given him the rest of the book. So there are 5 series so far. At the end of every series, Jamie is always very much like, I don't know if I can keep doing this because my dad wrote porn. It is bad. It is terrible porn. There is nothing sexy sexy about this. It is hilarious. So he does it with 2 other people, which is Alice Levine and James Cooper, and they just rip his dad like work to shreds, because his dad is the type of, he types it, he doesn't proofread it, he just publishes it. So he reads it as it is, grammatical errors as it is, weird word choice of words he says for certain things. It's just so gross and funny, and I'm so excited that I'm going to the live tour in October. Alice messaged me the other day, she was like, do you want to go? Because when they first started mentioning the tour, because I was obviously like nearly 5 years behind, I guess it was a series a year, they'd mentioned about tours, and I was like, I would love to go, but I've never gotten the opportunity because it's in the past. I really hope they keep going, because I think his dad has really churned out, because he's literally written these books one after the other. So at the time when he discovered them, his dad had already written them like 4 years ago or something. So I think we might now be at a point where his dad writing them is coincided with, because his dad loves the podcast, and so it's seeing how maybe if his dad's writing has like been affected by it. These books go off in such a weird tangent, like to the degree of the book series I'm in now, there's now like an espionage, like spy MI5 element, and before it was very business. It was the sexy world of pots and pans. Please give it a listen if you have never heard of it. It is just bizarre, it is so funny, it is wrong, and you don't want anyone to hear you listening to it, because they will walk in at the most inappropriate time. So I have gone way off topic here with my dad wrote porno. I'm gonna head off now. I just want to try and relax a bit. My back is really sore, so I want to try and relax it before I wash my hair, because I know it's just gonna really hurt. Hey guys, so I wanted to talk about structure. So I'm about nearly halfway. I'm on page 388, so I'm creeping ever so closer to that halfway point. I think I've actually managed to get a lot read over the weekend, which I don't know how because I haven't had the time, but I've been trying to get myself into a better routine on Sunday of going to bed a bit earlier and settling down earlier. So I think I actually did listen to quite a lot on audiobook. I couldn't really talk about structure in last week's vlog, because you know, we were picking up everyone's threads and where they were going, whereas this week I've been now hitting a point where plots are actually developing and we're getting somewhere and things are happening. So I said this before, possibly for Heir of Fire, possibly for the book after, actually I can't remember which one, but I basically said that structurally it hadn't been my favourite. I think it was Heir of Fire, because I felt like it was all over the place, because you know, there was the introduction of new characters like Manon, and for me I just found they were all, it was very like unequally balanced, because Selena just didn't really exist in the first half of the book and she was annoying me quite a lot, and I felt like her development didn't really happen until the second half of the book, and then Manon and her storyline sort of disappeared. So I found it was very sort of irregular and all over the place, and I didn't like it. And I'm kind of finding that with this. I know it's gonna sound like ridiculous and really quite stupid, but roll with me on this. There are a lot of characters to be following and a lot of plots to be happening, and don't get me wrong, I've got it all down, it's all in my head, I totally understand it, and that is fine. My problem is that Kale, Irene and Nesserin, the last time I heard from them was sometime last week, and they've only just come back up, and I'm forgetting about them, like, which is ridiculous, because they're trying to defend a castle, they're trying to like hold off Morath's army, so it, like, something like that I shouldn't forget about. And this happened before. I think with Manon, when she made a decision to do something, there was a bunch of other chapters involving other people, and then they came back to Manon and the witches, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, that was happening. Like, I'm not like forgetting plots, because as soon as I read it, I'm totally with it, but I'm forgetting, oh god, yeah, that's a plot that's happening. I understood when Elian was on her own, that really needed to be drip fed until she kind of came back into the mix again, and that I was fine with. But with like the rest of it, I guess maybe it's being done to sort of build up the suspense of, you know, we're just going to leave it on that lingering moment of Kale's about to defend somewhere, an army is coming, a battle is coming, but then it's like chapter upon chapter of just other people, and then suddenly, oh right, yeah, but Kale's about to like suddenly like battle. Okay, yeah, I really don't like that. I'm finding it not jarring, but it's just like, oh god, yeah, how could I forget about these characters and this plot line? So I wish it wasn't so irregular, but I suppose maybe it makes like the other stuff make sense because so much is happening. I don't really know, I just know that I don't like it. That's the only thing I'm not vibing. It's just, I just don't structurally like it. However, I obviously like how it is written, and I'm really enjoying it, and we're now at a point where the plot threads are really coming into their own. Everything is sort of happening now, and I've said it before, I love the woman who's narrating it. Oh my goodness, just her voice, there's something about it. And there was a bit when Leanne was just like pleading, and the way she did it and like the way the voice was shaking, I was listening to it and I was like doing my makeup and I was just like, someone help her. Like I was getting so into it. And it's the same even when she does the guys' voices. I mean, I know her voice isn't like changing that much, but just the way she does it, I absolutely, why did I wait this long to do audiobooks? I am an idiot. So I am kind of thinking that probably next week will be when stuff is really gonna ramp up, and honestly I'm gonna find it quite hard not to get spoilery. I was thinking about this second sort of part 2 of Kingdom of Ash was gonna be quite spoilery, and so far I've like managed not to, but honestly I think the third part might be, so I'm sorry, but yeah. Hey guys, so final check-in for the week. So I am finishing on page 451. I am so close to halfway, I'm slowly getting there. So last time I was talking about sort of structurally how I'm finding this book. The one thing that is definitely consistent throughout and definitely a pros is that the emotional sort of battering and just development of characters is just not something that has ever really slowed down or changed, and it has been really nice because sometimes that can get lost in a book so ridiculously heavy in plot. There is always that risk that it's going to kind of fall to the wayside, and especially with the other characters, especially, you know, these people have their own chapters and have their own perspectives, and you know, they've begun as side characters, and it is easy to kind of think, well, they are side characters, I won't give them too much development. And it's so easy to forget again that there are so many of them and they're all in different places and they're all doing their own things, they're kind of coming together, they're all finding out different pieces of information. Of course I know the information, but other people don't. So it's that they come to terms with information that has massive ramifications or could change things, and then of course it's then when they go and then they like meet up with other people and then they have to tell them, and it is like the emotional like devastation and just all of that like begins again. And to each character, obviously various information depending on who it's about or what it's about is going to have a different emotional impact, and so it is a constant battle for a lot of characters, and it's quite nice because there is so much, and it is so easy for things just to get lost and kicked to the wayside, but the characters just feel so important to the plot, and it is so nice to have that and not have, because it's a fine line of getting dragged down into like the too much of that and then the plot suffering. So it has been really nice, you know, nothing's being forgotten. We are at a point where everything is really gonna have to start coming together. I'm now kind of just almost at that halfway point. So for me right now, what I want to see in next week's reading vlog is just a real kind of a step up of gear. I need to feel that urgency, and I felt before that I didn't have that urgency, and I was a bit like and it took a while, and then I was suddenly like, oh my god, okay, like I am so just like, yeah, okay, I sense the urgency, I sense the danger, and it's been really building and it's been really slowly gathering. I am really enjoying it, but obviously the closer I'm getting to the end, obviously there is always that scary feeling of, oh crap, like is this gonna fall apart at the end, or is this gonna be good? And there are so many of them, and it's like, well, of course I want them all to have their happy endings or at least like survive, but you know, with a cast of this many characters and with the threat that they are genuinely facing and the amount of battles which are kind of happen and are happening, I mean, does it feel like a cop-out if they all survive? I don't know. I want them to, because regardless as to whether or not they survive, they are gonna have emotional and potentially physical damage. But who knows, I don't want to like think too much in it, because I don't want to put in my own expectations and wants and then be really disappointed. Right now I just want it to get wrapped up well and wrapped up like good, and I don't want anything to suffer really. So that is the end of this week's reading vlog. I'm gonna go crash for a bit because I am exhausted. Today has been shit. Tomorrow will be just absolutely horrendous. There are no words for tomorrow. So yeah, I'm gonna cry in a dark room for a little bit, quite possibly. So I'm just gonna take an hour or so, just watch a couple of things on Netflix, just just take a minute, have a shower, and then edit. I really wish I could listen to an audiobook whilst I edit, but obviously that's not a possible thing. If you enjoyed this video, then smash that like button and show me your thumbs, and if you're new, hit that subscribe button and ding the bell. As usual, comment below on absolutely anything. What are your plans for the weekend? Are you doing anything? It is my weekend off, so I'm working through till Friday and I'm going for lunch on the Saturday. I'm also going to a birthday party of one of the team managers at my work and her husband. I don't actually know them really well, but we're doing this. I feel very honoured because only a select few are going and it's been kept really hush hush. So I'm like, why the hell have I been invited? But I mean, I feel honoured. I feel like because most of my team have been there for so long, I feel like I just kind of got like invited by proxy. But I mean, I'll take it. I will so take it, because I would not have been offended if I didn't get invited, because literally I've worked there for like nearly 2 years and I'm just like, hey, why am I going? But whatever. But her husband told me I should go on Love Island, so there's also that. He's great. He's a great drunk. Have a great weekend and I will see you Monday.